What's up, y'all? Now look, if you've been learning rope flow and you got your beginner moves down, right, you can do your figure eights and your matadors and you look good, you feel good, but the only problem is as soon as you try to make a turn with that rope, you feel like somebody swapped it out for a garden hose filled with sand. Okay, look, you're not broken. That's normal. Everyone goes through that when you start out because you're first just using your hands and your arms to get the control and understand the rhythm of the rope. But the flow was meant to be a mobile thing, right? It's meant to be a thing where you can move gracefully from side to side, around in circles. And today we're going to show you exactly how to do that. And along the way, I'm going to introduce you to a concept called the Cardinal Law. Now, I can't tell you how many times my students in my Rope Flow Essentials course have come to me and told me that this was the aha moment, right, where the light bulb went off and they finally got the ability to change directions and move with their flow smoothly once they learned about the Cardinal Law. Now, it's a bit sort of complicated for the kind of time we have on YouTube, so I'm not going to go too in-depth into it, but we're going to learn a special drill that I use a lot of times. It works very well to teach you the ability to move gracefully from this way to that way, and even in 360 degrees. It's called the box drill. But before we jump into the box drill, I want you to understand a basic concept, and that is that the overhand and underhand sides are basically two sides of the same coin, okay? So for example, if you see my rope here is going in a clockwise fashion for you, and I'm doing an overhand movement, right, where the rope is passing my body from toe to heel and it's going down and back past my body, right? That is overhand. Now, the underhand side is the opposite direction. So if I turn 180 degrees, now suddenly the rope is passing my body from heel to toe and it's going down and forward direction, right? And back we go. The rope, you'll notice, is still doing a clockwise movement on your screen, but the only thing changing is my body's orientation. So the rope stays the same, it's my body that changes. And that, in a nutshell, is what the Cardinal Law is all about. So we're going to go into the box drill because it's going to help you to more quickly learn how to make those transitions fluidly. We'll start with baby steps, and then as you grow, you can get much, much better. All right, so the box drill basically works like this. You're going to imagine that you have a box. You don't need to draw a box or anything or have an actual box, but you're going to imagine that you have a box and your toes are squared to one side of the box. And every time you want to make a turn or a pivot, you're going to do a 90-degree turn so that your toes change to the next side of the box, right? So another 90-degree turn is here, another 90-degree turn is here, all right? So it's simple as that. You can go in either direction, but it's always only 90 degrees. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when teaching this to folks, the first thing I see happening is that they start turning like this. They start turning not quite 90 degrees, right? They start losing the ability to go from one direction just to exactly 90 degrees or close as possible. You don't want to have this direction where you're kitty corner, right? That's going to mess it up. So the whole objective is to remember that you're going from facing one way to turning to the side, turning to the side, turning to the side. And we're going to start out with just a one-turn move. So we're going to learn this box drill with two simple moves, okay? You don't have to have any fancy moves or anything like that, right? We're going to start with a propeller. That's a basic beginner move where your rope is going past toe to toe, right? It's not going heel to toe. It's not going toe to heel like it would be if it were underhand and overhand. It's just going right in front of your body, passing you in a what we call a transverse plane, right? Okay. And the other one is going to be a simple two-handed underhand move and a two-handed overhand move, okay? So that's how we're going to learn the box drill, by going back and forth between this two-handed overhand figure eight, this propeller, and this two-handed underhand figure eight, all right? Now, this is something that you can start out, I recommend, with two hands, but you can also do it with one hand. It depends on how comfortable and good you are with your figure of eight move in one hand, okay? So if you don't have a good control of the rope in your figure of eight, you might struggle to go from the propeller and back and forth. So I recommend, if it's not something that you're quite good with at first, start with the two hands, and once you get comfortable with making those transitions, then you can say, okay, let's upgrade and work on the one hand. And if the one hand is challenging, that tells you that you need to work more on your figure of eight control, especially control as the rope is passing your side body on either side, okay? So now, the way this box drill works is very simple. We'll start in, let's say, a propeller pattern. We can go in either direction, clockwise or counterclockwise, that you prefer, but we'll start in propeller. Now, let's say you start out with your propeller in this counterclockwise, I know it's clockwise on your screen, but a counterclockwise direction. What you want to do from there is, when the rope is, if you're going to turn to your overhand side, right, you do that when the rope is coming up, okay, on its way up, right? So propeller, and you identify which side is your overhand side. If you're going counterclockwise, your overhand side is on your left, okay? So when the rope is coming up, you turn 90 degrees, all right? Now you're doing the overhand figure of 8. And if you want to go back, we're going to work on turning back. When you want to go from overhand to underhand, right, which means on your way to underhand, we're going to stop at the propeller position, but we're not going to go all the way to underhand. But when you want to go from overhand to underhand, you do that when the rope is on its way down, okay, on the side that you want to turn, right? So rope is, I'm overhand right now, the rope is coming down, and I turn 90 degrees back to my propeller, right? When the rope is coming up, I turn 90 degrees back to my overhand. So just work on those 2 turns, right? Work on the timing of the rope coming down for the turn to propeller and up for the turn back to overhand. All right, so I want to be clear about one thing in case it's, it might be a point of confusion. When you're in your propeller, okay, I'm going to go back to this propeller, and my overhand side is this side, and I make my turn. Now, some of you might find it easier to make that turn and keeping the rope from crossing over your body. What I mean by that is when I do it, I go, as the rope comes up, I cross over my body. Now, you notice how the rope comes down on the opposite side of my body. That's a flow that I'm almost do out of second nature, but you can start out by doing the same turn where the rope comes up and stays on that side of your body, and then you cross over afterwards, okay? So you can do it either way. I recommend, if it's not challenging to your coordination, to do it where it crosses over your body, because that's the move that gets you the proper weight shifting, all right, and the proper spinal rotation that you kind of want out of your rope flow game. Now, when you're going the underhand side, it's the same thing. You can choose to go up and cross over your body, right? Like I always do. Or you can choose to go up and stay on the same side and then cross over your body, okay? If it's easier for you to start out with one, just getting used to turning without stopping, without changing the path of the rope is the key for this drill. So whichever way you prefer, it's fine to start out, but ultimately you want to work on going up and crossing over your body. Now, all you're really doing is turning your body and guiding the rope. You don't really change the rope's path, right? Remember, the rope will still continue to go in the same, let's say, in this case, counterclockwise or clockwise to your screen, counterclockwise to me rope path that we started in. It never changed, right? So I can just do this all day because of the fact that I know how to guide the rope. But when you're first learning out, the box helps you because it keeps you in a nice pattern where you're not, where you're doing the 90-degree turn. So it's going to overhand, going propeller, going underhand, right? Now, once you have that worked out, the next thing you want to do is work on turning all the way around, okay? So we'll start back in the beginning in our propeller position. We'll go overhand first, go back to propeller, underhand, back to propeller. All right, guys, well, that is it for today. Hopefully this box drill has been useful. Hopefully it's helped you learn how to move gracefully in transitioning from one direction to another in your rope flow game. And if so, please give this a try and let me know in the comments below if it's been useful for you. I'd love to hear from you guys. And also, if you're starting out with rope flow and you're still learning the beginner moves and maybe feeling a little bit awkward and you want to get past that awkward stage a lot more quickly, check out our course, Rope Flow Essentials. The link is in the description below. We've got hundreds of students who've come and learned how to go from being awkward and stiff to moving gracefully and understanding the basic principles, the fundamentals of rope flow and why it helps you not only look good while you're doing it, but feel much better in your joints and your body. So check us out there if you're looking for a shortcut to a better flow. In the meantime, we'll see you in the next video.